What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and if you haven't watched my last couple of videos, I'm doing top 10s list of every position in Major League Baseball. Last time it was second baseman, and the time before that it was first baseman. Today, we're going shortstops. We're going around the infield. Next time will be third baseman. Yeah, whatever. But we're talking about the shortstops. And if you haven't watched my top 10 videos in the past, I'm not solely looking at stats from the previous season, although that is a major factor. I'm also looking at where these guys are in their career, their injury history, and just how overall, if I were starting a team, would I want these guys on my squad? Also, I'm going primarily based off where these guys played the majority of games last season, because I know some guys, they'll play second base and shortstop, so if they played more games at shortstop, they are eligible for this list. So with all that out of the way, let's get it started. At number 10, we have Carlos Correa, and if you watched my top 10 second baseman video, I mentioned that Jose Altuve, there was a little bit of an asterisk next to him or a question mark, because of the Astros cheating scandal. The same applies for Correa. Correa last season, he played in only 75 games, which is very concerning as he has had a bit of an injury history so far in his young career. He only played more than 111 once in 5 seasons. Correa hit .279, had 78 hits, 21 home runs, and 59 RBIs. Circling back to the question mark or the asterisk next to Correa's stats, is that last season Correa hit .323 at home and .242 on the road, despite having 26 more at-bats on the road than at home. So there's that kind of like dark area, gray area, if you will, where you're like, okay, Correa, he puts up really good numbers, but is that because he knew what was coming from the Astros cheating scandal? I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he gets healthy and silences the naysayers, but I personally don't see it happening, and the only real reason why he's on this list is because he has put up solid numbers during his career, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, although there's very little benefit of the doubt with Carlos Correa and the Astros for me. So as of right now, number 10 on my list is Carlos Correa. At number 9, we have Amed Rosario. After a slow rookie year in 2017, in which he only played in 47 games, Rosario has emerged as a top shortstop in baseball. Last season, he hit .287, had 177 total hits, 15 home runs, and 72 RBIs. Where Rosario lacks, and the reason why he's so low, is that in the last 2 seasons, he has committed 33 errors, 17 of which came in 2019, tied for the most among qualified shortstops this past season. I think Rosario, if he can continue to develop that and maybe develop his power a little bit more in a game of baseball where power is everything, he could be a really, really nice piece for a Mets squad that has young guys like Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, a young pitching core, and Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard. There are some pieces there in Queens that could rival that of what's going on in the Bronx. And I think Rosario, he will be a star for the Mets. He just needs to shore up some of those things, specifically the errors in the field. So as of right now, Amed Rosario, number 9 on my list. At number 8, we have Trea Turner. Turner is now officially a World Series champion following last season with the Washington Nationals. Despite playing only 122 games, Turner did put up solid numbers, hitting .298, 19 home runs, 155 total hits, and 57 RBIs. Where Turner makes his money, though, is with his speed. He is one of the best in baseball at stealing bases. His stolen base total was down from 2017 and 2018, stealing only 35 bases, but he was tops amongst qualified shortstops, second amongst all shortstops, and 5th in all of baseball in the stolen base category. The reason why I have Turner where he is, though, is because if I were building a team, I want a guy with a solid and diverse skill set, which Turner has, but I really want to see if he continued to produce like this if he played in all 162 games, which he did in 2018. So I want to see if he'll play when he is fully or close to fully healthy, and basically I want to see if he can produce similar to this again in 2020 in more games, just at a greater level. So as of right now, Trea Turner, number 8 on my list. At number 7, I have Trevor Story. When Story first came into the league back in 2016, he came out strong, hitting .272, 27 home runs in just 97 games. Since then, Story has put up similar numbers each year, getting progressively better each season. Last year, he hit .294 with 173 hits, 35 home runs, and 85 RBIs, carrying my fantasy baseball team. Amongst qualified shortstops, Story ranked 5th, 1st, and tied for 4th in those respective categories. And the reason why I have Story so low, despite putting up really good numbers, is because he plays for the Rockies. And if you don't know, at Coors Field, where the Rockies play, there is a significantly higher altitude because of Denver and where it is in relation to sea level. And due to that, it's a really good hitter's park. Story splits from home versus away games show that from last season. Last year at home, he hit .328 and had 97 hits and 24 home runs. On the road, he hit .260 with 76 hits and 11 home runs. Story had 296 home at-bats and 292 bats on the road, so it's pretty equal in terms of opportunities. And you greatly see he is helped out from playing in Colorado. Don't get me wrong, Story is a really good baseball player, but I don't know if he would be considered a top 10 shortstop if he played for a team that did not have as friendly of a hitter's ballpark. Granted, he takes advantage of the situation he's in, and he's put up great numbers, but I really want to see if he were to play on another team, how would his stats fare versus when he did in Colorado. So as of right now, Trevor Story, number 7 on my list. At number 6, we have Xander Bogaert. In 2019, Bogaert had himself a career year for the Boston Red Sox. Last season, he hit .309, second best in his career, had the third most hits in a single season for his career with 190, and career highs in home runs and RBIs with 33 and 117. Bogaert led all shortstops in RBIs last season, was tied for second in home runs and batting average and first in hits. At 27, it seems like Bogaert is really starting to come into his own, and with Mookie Betts no longer on the roster, he, along with Rafael Devers, will be major pieces in that Red Sox lineup. Now it's just a matter of whether or not Bogaert can grow upon this season and become a top player in baseball. Can he do it? Yes. Only time will tell, though, and that's kind of the reason why I don't have him higher, because I just want to see if he can do this again, and I'm just a little skeptical. Do I think he can do it? Yes, but it's been a very long time for Bogaert to get to this point, and I don't know how much longer he has to continue to produce at this level. So as of right now, number 6 on my list is Xander Bogaert. At number 5, we have Tim Anderson for the Chicago White Sox. Anderson is another one of those guys who had himself a monster season in 2019. Last year, he had career highs in batting average and hits, with hitting .335 for 467 hits. He also had 18 home runs and 56 RBIs. He led all qualified Major League Baseball players, the entire league, that are considered qualified hitters, in batting average last season. And among shortstop, he was ranked 7th in hits, 15th in home runs, and 23rd in RBIs. My one concern with Anderson is his fielding ability. It's subpar, to say the least. Amongst qualified shortstops, he had the worst fielding percentage at 95.1%. And amongst all shortstops last season, he committed the most errors with 26. In the last 3 seasons alone, he has committed 74 errors. 26, as I mentioned, came last season. Anderson is an electric player to watch, and I think he can have a really good career at the plate, but I want to see him improve in the field before I place him in my top 4. So as of right now, Tim Anderson is number 5 on my list. At number 4, we have Francisco Lindor. Not going to lie, last season was a slight down year for Lindor, but that can be partially blamed on the fact that there were rumors of him being traded for the majority of last season, and from the only MLB team he's ever known for Lindor, from the Cleveland Indians. That can mess with a player regardless of how much they say it doesn't. Last season, though, Lindor still hit .284, had 170 total hits, which included 32 home runs and also 74 runs batted in. Lindor also had a fielding percentage of 97.9%, 7th best amongst qualified shortstops, while also being tied for 5th in fewest errors committed with 10. Lindor has proven that he can be a top player in baseball in years past, and hopefully the trade rumors are behind him so that he can focus solely on his play on the field. Hopefully 2020 is a return to normalcy for Lindor. Actually, I do think he will benefit. He's one of those guys who will benefit from a trade. I think he needs a change of scenery to sort of not revitalize his career, but readjust his career, just to get into that mindset of winning and playing for a perennial World Series championship team or playoff team. Because I don't know where the Indians really stand. I think they stepped back from where they were in 2016, and I don't think they are the tops of this AL Central Division anymore. The Twins have emerged. The White Sox are coming up. I just really don't think there is much there for Lindor and the Indians left. I think the Indians need to retool, and Lindor needs to go. But I hope that Lindor does return to the normalcy in terms of his play on the field. So as of right now, he is number 4 on my. At number 3, we have Marcus Semien. And if I said it once already in this video, I've said it a million times. Semien is another one of those guys who had a career year in 2019, catapulting him to a top 3 ranking at his position. Last season, Semien had career highs in hits, home runs, RBIs, batting average, and WAR, among other categories, with 187, 33, 92, 287 batting average, and a wins above replacement of 8.1. Amongst qualified shortstops last season in those categories, Semien ranked 2nd, tied for 2nd, 8th, and 1st. Semien has also greatly improved as a fielder in recent years. After committing 35 errors in 2015 In that season, he played in 152 games. In 2016, 2018, 2019, he played in 159 games or more. 2017, he only played in 85. In those 3 seasons, Semien has committed 21, 20, and 12 errors, respectively, improving each season. He's getting better and better. This monster season for Semien led to him to becoming 3rd in AL MVP voting in 2019. The talent is there. Let's just see if he can grow upon it in 2020. Because in that core in Oakland, you got Semien, you got Matt Olson at first base, you got Matt Chapman at third base. There's some really nice pieces there. And I'm excited to see what Oakland do. Maybe make a run for it in the AL West, especially with the Astros probably taking a step back. The Angels, who knows where they are. The Rangers are up around there. The Mariners are still good. The AL West, I'm actually very excited to watch next year. And Oakland, I think, is going to be the winner of the AL West when it's all said and done. But we got a long ways to go. As of right now, though, Marcus Semien, number 3. At number 2, we have Javier Baez. Baez took a step back from 2019 from his monster 2018 season, but still performed for the Cubs. Last season, he hit 281, 149 hits, 39 home runs, and 85 RBIs. Ranked in the middle of the pack in all those categories amongst qualified shortstops except in RBIs, where he was tied for 4th. He also committed his most errors at shortstop last season in his career with 15. But I'm not too worried about this because Baez has shown that he's a very, very good fielder who can be moved around the field. The reason why I have Baez this high despite his down year is because he has shown to produce big in the past. And if I were starting a team, he is one of the few guys who can do a whole lot of things, which is very valuable skill in this day and age. And he's one of the guys where if I can't get my top choice, he's probably my 2nd or 3rd choice, and I'm going to want him every single time. I think one of the main reasons for the drop-off last season for Baez was because there was just so much hype around him entering 2019 that just consumed him. And hopefully the Baez is more so used to the noise now, and he will be better able to play with it in 2020 and for years to come because he is really, really good, and he is the face of the Cubs franchise right now, regardless of what people say. If they could say it's Anthony Rizzo, they could say it's Chris Bryant, but I think it's Javier Baez, and I think Baez, he now knows what it's like to have all the hype surrounding him, and I think that will only help him going forward. So as of right now, Baez comes in number 2 on my and at number 1. Gleyber Torres of the New York Yankees. Despite being listed as a second baseman, Torres played the majority of his games at shortstop last season, similar to his Yankee teammate DJ LeMahieu. Torres balled out, to say the least, last season. After a monster rookie year, year 2 was even better for Torres, who was the offensive leader on an injury-riddled Yankee team in 2019. Hitting 278, 152 hits, 38 home runs, 90 RBIs, had a WAR of 3.9, all of which were career highs among other categories. And if he were listed as a shortstop amongst qualified players at the position, Torres would have ranked 13th, 11th, 1st, 3rd, and 11th. The stat rankings are not the greatest than other guys, but Torres is box office, and he's already shown in his young career that he is really good and is not afraid of the moment. There are some things that need to be cleaned up, but the sky is the limit for Torres, and it'll be interesting to see once all the Yankees get healthy and once the Major League Baseball season obviously starts, how will he perform? Because that Yankee lineup is scary. You got Torres, LeMahieu, Aaron Hicks, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Gio Urshela, Gary Sanchez. Like, it's so many guys on the team. Like, someone's going to have to lose out on their share of the pie, if you will. I don't think it will be Torres, but that Yankee lineup is scary, scary, scary. And Gleyber Torres is the future of this team, along with Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez and maybe a couple other guys, but neither here nor there. Gleyber Torres, best shortstop, in my opinion, in all of baseball. And I think he can hold on to this position for a long time, despite being listed as a second base. So what do y'all think? Do you agree with my list? Who would you have taken off? Who would you have put on the list? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.